Religiously, understand the 7 principles of hell. You understand the 7 demons within you. You understand that whole concept. It's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but I should have.
I was on mute. Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble morning. Yeah, we still morning. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. This y'all Shorty Racheal. I want to welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life. Brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast. The link is in the chat for anybody that wishes to come up, give their perspective, their opinions. All right. Today's topic: protect the kids, not the predators. Raise the age of consent now. Consent laws are a joke. That is today's topic. Why is a shorty bringing up this topic? All right, from conversations within our neighborhoods, right? Within my neighborhood, I'm gonna put it like that, right? Conversations with the people that I know, right? Talking about the predators, right? And much more. And then listening to a lot of people come on social media, right? And talk about, how let me put it like this, how I hear certain people come on social media, right? On how, well, it's okay to have sex if you're over the age of 21 with, somebody that is 16, because in the city that I am, the state that I am, the age of consent is 16. All right. I remember, coming up 16. I'm from Philadelphia, right? I was looking up is it still statutory or rape? Right, even in Pennsylvania, is saying that the age of consent is 16. Now, blessings. We got Rizzler named MIG. I hope I said your name correctly. All right, I'm so sorry if I said it wrong. But we got Rizzler in the building. I appreciate you. I'm doing fine. How you doing? All right. So like I was telling y'all, right, I was looking it up, and I do know that when I was growing up in North Philadelphia, right, the age of consent, right, I do know that it's considered statutory rape, right? It was considered statutory rape, right? If somebody over the age of 21 had sex with somebody of the, within the age of 16, 17, 15, I know they're around them ages, was considered statutory rape. And I think last year and the year before that, right, we was looking up the laws, and it was talking about, how in Pennsylvania it was still considered, statutory rape. Now I'm looking up these laws, right, and it's saying that the age of consent has, always been 16 to 18, right, in the states. And then I'm looking at this map up here. I'm trying to go further back to see. I was like, wait, it wasn't always like this. Like, it's like this shit reminds me of when we did the live, and and we was breaking down the Mandela effect for real, right? But a lot of conversations that I've heard on here on social media, right? If a 16-year-old can be tried as an adult in court, why can't they consent to sex? If a 16-year-old is allowed to go to work, why can't they consent to sex? Well, at one point, that was considered statutory rape where I was growing up. Does raising the age of consent empower youth, or, right, or does it infantilize them, right? Who benefits from keeping the age of consent lower, and who is at risk? So, like I always tell y'all, we always do these lives, right? I want people, to give their perspectives, their opinion. Y'all opinions are always welcomed here. Listen, we all have opinions. Opinions are like assholes, right? Everyone has one. All right, we're not here to bring nobody down or bash anybody. We're here to have conversations, right, that do matter. Let's bring solutions to the table. Can this right here be something that, as we the people, can fix? Is it possible to, raise the age of consent from 16 to 18 to just 18? Because when we look up, right, age of consent by state, right, understanding the age of consent by state, the age of consent is the legal age at which a person is considered mature enough to consent to sexual activity. This age varies from state to state across the United States, typically ranging from 16 to 18 years old. Age of consent laws are essential because they protect minors from potential exploitation, but they can be complex, especially when state and federal laws differ. Knowing the specific age of consent in each state can help you better understand legal boundaries and protections. So I have been diving down rabbit holes, right, to see why is it that the age of consent is still 16, especially with, everything that has been going on throughout the years. I thought this would have been something that got fixed. You see where I'm coming from? But before I read all that, I want y'all to take a look at this map, right? And I'm hoping that y'all can see what I'm showing y'all on the screen, right? As y'all can see, age of consent, right, map in the United States. We got Washington, age of consent 16, Montana, Nevada, Alaska, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan. Oh, let's do Michigan right there. Okay, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, damn, South Carolina, and North Carolina, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania. I was shocked. New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, and Maine. Now, the age of consent to be at 17, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Nebraska, Missouri, Illinois, Louisiana, and in New York. So New York is very confusing because in New York, right, the age of consent 16 and 17, so it varies. Y'all know that there's 5 boroughs, right, in New York. Now 18, Oregon. It should be 18 all over. All of these spots right here on this map should be blue. Oregon, California, Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, North Dakota, Wisconsin, Alabama, which part of Virginia? Because we already knew that. Shit. What's this? Delaware. You have to be 18. But Delaware is red in okay, Maryland. That's why. I was like, wait, Delaware is red and blue. So it's because Maryland is in there. All right, so Delaware is 18. Maryland is 16. Florida. So these are the places where the age of consent is 18. All right. So, like I was asking, right? And the questions I do ask are controversial, right? I want these, the questions I do ask, I want them to be mind-provoking, right? Because I want us to have conversations, all right? I want us to bring solutions to the table. How would raising the age of consent affect or marginalize teens, especially those already navigating unsafe or abusive environments? What role do family, religion, and education systems play in shaping our views on adolescent agency? In culture where marriage or adulthood begins earlier, would raising the age of consent be seen as oppressive or protective? Right? And what's crazy is, right, I think Obama was the one that passed that child. Oh, yeah, it was Obama because I did a whole live on him. He passed that child bridal law, right? And what's crazy, I think that I don't know if they changed it. It seems like they have, right? Where it says that you can marry a minor, at the age of 13 and stuff like that, which I thought it was like outrageous and crazy. I'm trying to figure out what would make Obama even pass that law. But he did it. All right. So like I hear so many people arguing, right, trying to fight for the kids' rights, right, to protect the kids, to put away the predators. But in the same breath, I see a lot of people consulting to this shit. Like I'm sitting here like, you agreeing with shit? You around people that do this shit? Too many men on social media. Oh, it's okay. I'm 25. I'm 30 years old, right? And I've had sex with a 16-year-old. I'm sitting here like, aren't a lot of us talking about this Just because we did it at one point doesn't make it okay. And what's crazy, when I was growing up, a 20-something-year-old having sex with somebody that was 16, 15 years old would have went to jail because it was considered statutory rape here in Philadelphia. But I guess because they changed the law in Pennsylvania, right? Now the age of consent is 16. But let me ask you a question. Just because someone is capable of working, does that mean they should consent to sex? My 8-year-old is real good at working and helping people out. I don't mean that I'm going to sit here and say, oh, hey, it's okay for you to have a boyfriend and go do this and go do that. No. We got Stoic in the building. Stoic says, it won't do nothing. Think about if the law was to change, would it affect culture? You're talking about like hip hop, Hollywood, it'll affect that, right? But when it comes to the age of consent, right, for a 16-year-old to have sex with somebody that's over the age of 15, see, these laws ain't really for us. These laws, right, are protecting the predators. Can they be changed? Yes, because they change them underneath our noses all the time. You see where I'm coming from? Like, and what's funny is, right, the people that do this are the legislators, the people that are put in office. What's funny is I could say this time after time. And if y'all haven't noticed it in y'all city, guess what? I've noticed it in mine. And right along with other, bloggers and podcasters, whether it's here on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Twitter, you see where I'm coming from? I've had conversations with a lot of them, right? These laws get changed by the people that we put into office. Oh, wait, let me not forget. Oh, people don't go vote when it's time to change the judges, when it's time to vote in these DAs, when it's time to vote in the commissioners. People don't go vote. I've uploaded videos myself. See, I have these lives not for the people that don't care. I have these lives for the people that do care, for the people that want to have a conversation on what can be done. You see where I'm coming from? I was just having a conversation with my neighbor earlier, and me and her was agreeing to the same shit. What's crazy is we don't even realize that the system that we're living under was built by a man. The same motherfuckers that sat here and wrote the Bible, men. You see where I'm coming from? People not peeping this shit. But until, everybody wakes up and everybody is able to come together, I know that we cannot come together, all right, all at once. All right, I know I cannot change the world in one day, but can I bring awareness to these things, right? And little by little, can we start making change? Yes. Why am I saying this? Because I am a perfect example. I'm not just talking to talk. How many times have I been told, Rachel, you're not going to be able to do this. Rachel, you cannot put cameras in schools because it violates this and it violates that. But guess what? Rachel was consistent enough to sit here and change that with the people that she got together. So I'm not just talking to talk. Guess what? When I take a shit, it goes down the toilet, not through my mouth. All right? So at the end of the day, my message is not for everybody. And I want to let that clear, right? I want to leave that clear right now because I know there's going to be people tuning in. Oh, this can't be done. Guess what? I don't give a fuck what you think. Guess what I got for you right here? Let me mold it out for you and send it to you as a gift for the ones that, got something fucking smart to say and can't fucking get off their mama couch and pop their mama nipple out their motherfucking mouth and has the motherfucking government being their motherfucking zaddy, man or fucking woman. All right? So let's have conversations like me and Stoic is having. Stoic just said something. Hold on. What up, nah? Somebody else came in? No. Teenagers will do what teenagers do. The law will allow predator hinking people to do scriptureless things. Me as a man, I know men think. Me as a brother, I protect my sister from them. Facts. Facts. That's something that my baby pops taught me, something that my grandfather taught me, right? And listen, I could tell Stoic is a real one because of the words that come out his mouth on my lives, right? When he's on the words not on the words panel, the words channel. listening to him, give his comments and stuff like that. He a real one on some real shit, right? And I know he's seeing the reality, the world the way that I see it, right? But his perspective is different from us. That's why I say that, we all have opinions. An opinion is an opinion, right? I'm gonna put it like this: an opinion is like an asshole, and we all have an asshole, for real, for real. All right. Now, one thing I can sit here and tell you is that I have sat here, right, and people that have been watching me since the beginning, right, since the beginning, I have been able to show you, hey, look, listen. People say we can't do this, but we're doing this. Y'all told me this wasn't possible, but here I am today, showing y'all the complete fucking opposite. It took me 7 years. It took 7 years for them to hear my voice. You see where I'm coming from? Reason why? Because I didn't give up. I didn't quit. I was consistent. First person behind me is my fiance. And guess who is behind me on social media? Let me give them a big shout out. The Word, Nate the Great Podcast, right? We got Gary Busted Down joining us right now. But I've had realists, on my side here on social media for the longest, right? And what I mean on my side is that he's right there. Ray, I mean, listen, I know this is hard, but you got this. Don't give up. A lot of people, see, the problem with a lot of people is, right, when they become leaders, they give up. I don't mind being the leader of my community. I'm going to always put my family first, yes, but my community comes right with my family. And for those of y'all that don't understand what I'm trying to say by that is, listen, as long as my family is good, I'm always going to be able to help my community. When my family is not good, my community is on pause. That's why I'm trying to speak up as much as I can with the people around me that is in my community, that I know that if I'm not able to be here tomorrow, they can step up. You see where I'm coming from? Like, that is leadership. Having conversations that matter, trying to make the differences, fighting, standing in the front line, and not giving up. Consistency. All right? No matter how hard it gets, you don't give up. You keep trying and you keep trying, and you're going to have people right there trying to bring you down, trying to tell you this is not possible. This is why I'm saying when it comes to this, these laws have been changed. All right? They changed from the age of consent being all the way from 8 to 13. Then they changed from 13, all right, to 16 to 18. Now, what we want to do is change it from the ranges of 16 to 18 and keep it at 18. Why I'm saying this is because as long as we have these laws like this, these predators are going to take advantage of it, right? And I know what a lot of people is going to tell me. Well, these laws are set for we know that. But what the fuck are we going to do about it? All right. I'm so tired of hearing people say, well, let's do this, let's do that. But is y'all ready? Is y'all not ready? Y'all want the change. But when a motherfucker goes and does it, y'all is unappreciative. All right. So we're going to be real and uncut. Yes, I'm asking questions. You see where I'm coming from? Do I have the answers to a lot of this shit? Yes, I do. But a lot of y'all don't want to fucking hear it because a lot of y'all would prefer to say it's not possible. $18 across the board is where we got to get to. But guess what? People are scared to speak up. We know that these laws are set there, right? Who set them up? The motherfuckers we put into place. We know that politicians go in bed with, celebrities. Celebrities get in bed with fucking politicians. We know that shit. The question is, what is we the people going to do? Like I was saying, me and my neighbor was talking. Yeah, there's a whole lot of us. What's crazy is, as soon as we say it's more of us than them, people start screaming, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks this, Martin Luther King. I'm like, God damn, they got to be rolling in circles. Because as soon as a gun get pointed in your face, y'all run like fucking chickens. Let's be real. What I tell y'all is striking, protesting, rioting, none of that shit gonna work. The love language that we can give the government is boycotting. Y'all want something done? That's how it gets done. But we cannot do that because we're not united yet. And it's crazy, right? there have been points of time that the boycotting, words that they come at a cost of a few people's lives. Yes. May Martin Luther King rest in peace. May, um, Malcolm X rest in peace. May all of them that became martyrs from our, whoever our great grandparents was, that were a part of these events, right? To our ancestors. And I say it like that, right? Because I don't know everybody. You see where I'm coming from? All I can sit here is say it. Look, we're supposed to break the chains of society and be who we're truly meant to be, but we're not doing that. And shout out to the ones that are actually doing it. But there's people out there putting more bells and more whistles around their necks, feet, and hands. And if y'all don't like how I put that, that's on y'all. But I just had to give it some poetic justice. Those that understand why I said that like that. Let me see. Stoic says our philosophy the same. If you there and I'm here, are we united? I like to think so. However, how do we share the message to make a difference? How do we share the message? Like me and my neighbor were saying earlier, for example, right? We was bringing up what was happening here in Philadelphia with the strike, right? And we both agreed, right? If the union members, right, and the sanitation workers, 911 dispatchers, morticians, right, that deal, that work at the morgue and stuff like that, would have sat here and said, we need all the leaders of Philadelphia to stand up and, gather people within the communities to stand up, speak up, because more voices, how can I say it? More voices shouting and demanding, our voices could be heard. It would have been something on let's kind of boycott. You see where I'm coming from? But it didn't happen like that. We had leaders, right? And people, how can I say it? Leaders within our city, right? They are supposed to be, above us leaders, right? Telling people throw trash in the streets, do this. And guess what? People with strings attached to their backs were doing it. I was like, there were so many other ways to do things, right? When this strike happened, but it didn't get done. You see where I'm coming from? Between the tension of the union workers, right, and the city workers and stuff like that, shit was going crazy. Like, and not just that, a lot of us noticed that either one of the parties or both parties got paid. Like, they took that money under the table just to, hurry up and stop this before they started rioting. I mean, trash cans were getting burnt. You see where I'm coming from? The streets was getting out of fucking pocket. They were throwing trash in, the parkway. They were fucking throwing trash. I mean, listen. It was getting out of hand. So we was talking about that, and I said it. I was like, see, the problem is that people fail to realize that the system that we're living under is still man-made. The same way that Bible was. Maybe I'm talking too much, but guess what? I don't give a fuck. As long as I'm laying down the blueprint for my kids and it's time for them to wake up all the way, I mean, they're there. They're there. But sometimes, because of their age, still ignorant, right? They haven't woken up all the way. But they there. Me and my kids have conversations. And I know that when the time is right, boom, 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 everything that we've talked about is going to, fall into place. They're going to understand. So I'm not rushing it with them because I know they're going to get it one way or another. But, going back into this, right? People telling me, no, we can't do this. Yes, we can do a lot of shit. Can I hear the excuses? Yes. Let me see. All politicians on the list, 100%. What are going to do about it? I'll be on that too. We got Mel Dub in the building. Blessings, Mel Dub. How you doing? Shout out to Mel Dub. Let me see. Guys, make sure y'all go check out Mel Dub, man. Great conversations, great topic show. He also brings, awareness to the things that are going on within our schools and much more. He's a coach, a teacher, man. So big shout out to him. Make sure y'all check him out. You will not be disappointed. People in higher fields of profession, government need to speak up. Definitely. Somebody working at McDonald's obviously can't make a difference, but somebody in the government. Facts, Stoic. Facts. Whistleblowers, what happened to them? Oh, you didn't check our lives, man. You got to go further back into my lives, towards the beginning, man. If you go towards the beginning of our lives when we was, speaking about the AIs, I might do a premiere, and I might put all those lives together. It's going to be a long ass premiere, maybe 24 hours, but we spoke about that. We spoke about a lot of that, yo. Real shit about the whistleblowers, about the AIs coming, the robots, about people losing their jobs. We talked about the, Jackal Island, right? The federal, all that shit, the sinking of the Titanic. We bought all of that shit up. Like, we really went down a fucking rabbit hole for fucking months. Yo, it took me, I don't know how long, but we got them Jones done, yo. Oh, shit. We got the beautiful Miss Akimi in the building, y'all. Big shout out to Miss Akimi, guys. Make sure y'all go check out Miss Akimi, yo. Listen, you won't be disappointed when you go to Miss Akimi. And I promise you that every time you enter the building, you'll leave the building with some knowledge. You will fucking gain something out of Miss Akimi's channel. You're going to learn something. Cheryl. What's up, man? Oh, I hate when I get tongue twisted. Cheryl and Laverne, right, is one hell of a team. Her image, your thoughts is the best, yo. And I'm telling you, man, you want to know, if you want to learn about gardening, about how can I say? I can't find the right words right now, man. Man, but if you want to learn some real shit, go check out Ms. Yo Thoughts and Miss Akimi. And it's because, what's crazy is this topic right here, right? Me personally, right? I want to bring a solution to the table when it comes to this, right? And if we can, find a way, right, to bring the age of consent to 18, that'll be great, yo, on some real shit. Like, people say it can't happen. I say it can happen, right? Because I'm here to say protect the kids, not the predators. Like, just because an 8-year-old knows how to, work and get the job done doesn't mean that this 8-year-old should be able to consent to sex, right? And if in the past has been proven that the age of consent has been changed from the ages of 8 to 13, then from 13 to 16, and according to them, is to protect the kids, right? And I think there's a part on here that says that, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Over here says, what is the age of consent? The age of consent defines the age at which an individual is legally permitted to consent to sexual activity. This age varies by state, with most states setting the age between 16 and 18. Federal law also plays a role, especially in cases involving interstate activities, online communication, or other federal offenses involving minors. Generally, federal law prohibits sexual activity with individuals under 18 in these cases, even if the age of consent is lower in the minor's state. Look, it says over here, any sex allegation involving a child bring your life to a screeching halt. The accusation, which may be nothing more than a statement, could lead to the loss of freedom, potential rights, housing, and employment. That's what they're saying. Right? Now, I want y'all to see how there's only a few states that says the legal age of consent is 17 and 18, but the majority of the map is surrounded by red. Legal age of consent is 16. And like I was saying earlier, when I was, before I started, having the conversation with Stoic, when I was growing up in Pennsylvania, and here, right, I don't know how is it that Pennsylvania made it to become legal age of 16. Because when I was growing up, if somebody had sex with a 16-year-old and they were over the age of 21, it was considered statutory rape. And I know this personally because I almost went through it. They almost locked my baby pops up. What saved me was having a child with this man, right? And I couldn't even say who he was until after I had this child, until after I got emancipated, because he would have went to jail. He just turned 21. I had just turned 17. So, I was pregnant at 16, but I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. At one point in Pennsylvania, the age of consent was not 16. Why did y'all go backwards? What happened? Like, this is crazy. But I want y'all to see that these states right here, right? Only the blue ones, Florida, Tennessee, Virginia, Wisconsin, right? My bad. North Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, Oregon, California, Utah, and Arizona are the only states that that have the age of consent to 18. Wait, I didn't see that little tiny one. One state of Virginia, and then Delaware. My bad. Now, New Mexico, Colorado, Nebraska, Missouri, Illinois, New York, one of the bureaus of New York, Louisiana, Texas, right? All have the age of consent to be 17. We need all these reds to go all the way up to blue, and these whites to go up to blue. On some real shit. Because if we want to fight them, right, like I've said, the questions that I'm asking, y'all should be the questions that we're all asking them. Why is the age of consent still 16? Who are we protecting? Right? Even though we know the answer, those of us that are coming together know the answer. This question should be forwarded towards them, the legislator, the council, all of them. All of them. All right? Because that was a question that I asked earlier, right? And I know it is a controversial, mind-provoking question. Who benefits from keeping the age of consent lower, and who is at risk? Let me tell y'all who is at risk. Anybody from the ages under 17, right? And who benefits? Anybody over the age of 21, especially those in the dark webs, those predators out here that are looking, trying to take little boys and trying to take little girls. Those are the motherfuckers that benefit. Shit, let's not talk about if you put your child in Hollywood. Let's not talk about if you make your, if you put your child in the music. A lot of shit we hear, and what's crazy is all this shit gets covered the fuck up, thrown under the rug. I get it. It's not something easy to talk about. It's not a law that's easy to pass. My question to y'all, what is we going to do to make it easier? Are we overestimating the emotional and psychological maturity of teens or underestimating it? How does brain development work at 16 versus 18 affect decision making and vulnerability? Could a higher age of consent actually delay important conversations around boundaries and sexual health? If we really, according to science, right? According to, the books, medical records, I'm not going to say medical records, according to the books, right? It says that we don't fully mature until we hit 25. What's crazy is I've noticed that a lot of people don't fully mature until they hit like maybe 50 or 60. Some of them hit that age and they still not fully mature, because I still see 40-year-old men stuck in these corners still trying to fucking sling fucking nick bags, right? And I see women in their 50s and 60s coming on social media clapping their fucking cheeks back and forth trying to fucking catfish a man. All right? Showing fucking kitty cats and shit. Right? Shit be shot out. I'll be like, oh, am I in the right generation? I don't know, I guess. God, listen, man, it was a cosmic confusion coming out my mama's belly. Lord, what did you do? Real shit, man. Let me check the comments real quick, man. This should be shot out, man. Oh, let me see. Where Miss Akimi? All right, so it was Miss Akimi had a comment. Here we go. No, wait. It was before that. 16, damn. Like here in Australia. Yeah, in Australia, 16 too, right? I forgot about that. I noticed growing up, it was only the ethnics. who were chasing girls at 16. 16, you are still a child, IMO, until you are acknowledged by the law technically as an adult. The six laws should match. The sex laws should match, my bad. And that's some real shit though, right? Reason why I say that, because what's crazy is, right, I'm gonna sit here and tell y'all this, right? And I don't listen, it's not my first time saying this. Listen, at 16, I was working, right? Should I have stayed in school and got my diploma? Yes. But because I was having a difficult time, right? I was 16 years old and I needed help in math and stuff like that. So I was mad at like the teachers. So I would do shit. I would leave class early. You know, I would play hooky, go with my best friend and stuff like that. Yeah, I was doing all that shit because I wasn't getting the services and the help that I needed for one fucking class, right? Well, you know, later on I learned that I was dyslexic in math. All right. But now I surely got it together. But look, at 16, I was ignorant. Yes, I thought I knew it all. I thought that, you know, I was perfect. You see where I'm coming from? 16, I wanted to get out my house so bad that I got into a relationship. You see where I'm coming from? That I liked the boy I was with? Yes. But we both should have took the time. We both should have acknowledged. He could have gotten in so much trouble when we found out that Philadelphia, right? If it was statutory rape of a 21-year-old, right, was with a 16 just turning 16-year-old going on 17. So, I mean, shit was crazy. Yes, because we did it doesn't make it okay. You see where I'm coming from? Should the age of consent be 16? Just because we're working and we, you know, doing these things the way we're supposed to be doing, it doesn't mean that our mind is fully developed. No, it really isn't. Making money, right, is one thing. But guess what? Making that money while you're having sex and having kids is a difficult fucking task on some real shit. Some 16-year-olds may have it together because they got the, you know, right support around them, but not every 16-year-old got the right support around. All right. Some 16-year-olds got to go out here and fight at it alone with no support system. They find that support system later on in the line when they figure out how to trust. All right. Like I said, not every 16-year-old is ready to be out there popping kids left and right like they fucking factories, right? Man, us women in factories, all right? We're not supposed to be fucking just popping kids out like, you know, immigrant workers in the goddamn factories putting dolls together. We still fucking humans. Like, what the fuck? Like, let's get this shit right. Once again, we're supposed to have been breaking the chains of society to be who we're really meant to be. But guess what? The majority of us ain't doing nothing but adding pieces of metal to that chain to create more chains while we're attached to this little box. We may not be slaves no more, but we still fucking free slaves. Because the resident here in Oz, wait a minute. That's the part that you're in, Oz, because I'm like, wait a minute. You're not talking about like Oz, that show that my baby pop showed me. That shit was crazy. Oh, that show was crazy. Facts, though, facts. These damn sex laws, right? Who do these sex laws really benefit? Let's go back to read, all right? Yo, man, big shout out to Miss Akimi, yo. She always be having me thinking. Let's get back to this. I'm gonna finish reading. All right. So this live was purposely for this. If anybody wanted to hit the link to, you know, have a quick conversation with a shorty about this topic right here, right? I would love to hear your perspective, your opinion, what we can do, what, you know, why you think we can't do it, right? Listen, I'm here to listen to it all. All right. Listen, you can see something that I'm not seeing. I could be missing something that you know, that you're saying and not understanding, or you could be missing or misunderstanding something that I've said. You see where I'm coming from? Like, well, let's get back to this. All right, we read that over there. Why are age of consent laws important, right? So let's read this real quick, right? Oh, there you go, mouse. Age of consent laws are designed to protect young people from sexual exploitation. These laws acknowledge that minors may lack emotional maturity or legal standing to make informed decisions regarding sexual activity by setting a legal age. Let me ask y'all a question. I don't care what city or state you from. Has a 16-year-old shown us that they're, how can I say, emotionally mature to have kids? Just because they could work, does that mean that a 16-year-old is immaturely mature to raise a child? Can they keep their emotions intact? I mean, shit. Like in most places, they don't even want to hire a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old. So, like, come on, man. The laws acknowledge that minor may lack the emotional maturity to legal standing to make informed decisions regarding sexual activity by setting a legal age. States can help protect minors from predatory action by older individuals. Okay, so if that's true, then why are not? Why? If that statement right there is true, then why isn't every city, every state in this map fucking blue? Tell me why the majority of these states are all red. There's only a few on white. And look at the tiny bit in blue. But maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm just talking shit. Maybe I didn't know how to go to the bathroom and take a shit in the toilet and release my demons. They probably just coming up my throat and out my mouth. What the fuck? Come on, man. Let's make it make sense. If that statement is true, then why the fuck then it's we the people? Want to know what the problem is? Like I tell people when I go, and it's time to, for people to go vote for the mayors and, put people into, the, like voting for judges, all that. Y'all get my whole point. Legislators, Congress, all of them. Guess where we at? What is the president doing? Is we going to be okay? Yeah, we should be, attendant to what the president is doing, right? Learning and, paying attention. But at the same time, understand that, the president doesn't determine what's going on in our communities. He's not the one that passes these little bills and these little laws. He says yay or nay, yeah. But guess what? We still got a governor. We still got a mayor. We still got a Senate. We still got Congress. We still got council. Do y'all want me to go down a goddamn line? Knowledge is power. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying that sometimes I do better than some people, right? Because I sit here and I do my research and I take the time to analyze what's in front of me. And if I'm wrong, I could take the criticism. I'm fucking wrong. Ray, you fucked up. Figure out where the fuck you fucked up and get that shit straightened the fuck up now. That's how my state of mind is. But I wasn't like this when I was 16. I was not thinking like this when I was 16. So like I said, we want to pinpoint all this on the government. What accountability are we taking as citizens? Can we sit here and take accountability, right? And I'm just speaking in general. If the shoe fits, wear that fucking bitch. And if it doesn't apply, let it fly. What accountability is we the people taking in the fucking messes that we get into? The shit that we don't pay attention to. Because, most of our lives consist of, sitting here and bowing down to celebrities like they're gods. Trying to fix their lives before we fix our lives. Not realizing that we have to take care of home before we can help anybody outside of home. So let's get back to this, right? This law acknowledged that minors may lack the emotional maturity or legal standing to make informed decisions regarding sexual activity. By setting a legal age, states can help protect minors from predatory actions by older individuals. However, there are also challenges as many states do not make allowances for minors who misrepresent or lie about their age. Ignorance of a minor's age is typically not a defense in cases involving statutory offenses. Ding, 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 ding. Facts, Miss Akimi. Facts. Big shout out to Miss Akimi. Like I said, we know who these laws are here to protect. The question is, what are we going to do? It says, we, the people. Oh, my bad. That's something else that was made by man, too. Don't worry. We're going to go down the rabbit hole one of these days again. Trust me, I'm going to pop up out of nowhere, and I'm going to show y'all who made the system. And what's crazy, the system was made in, four men, four different opinions. And boom, 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 we got the system we living in today. And I wonder if y'all know it. When I was down that rabbit hole, I was like, is you fucking kidding me? I was like, this shit goes way beyond medieval time. But I get it. The question is, what are we going to fucking do? It's not, I'm not trying to make the good points though. Like, I'm just spitting the reality. Like, listen, man, diving down these rabbit holes be having you like, what the fuck? You'll be like, oh shit, it's like this. Then why the fuck they keep telling us like that? Diving down these rabbit holes after I come up and I catch a deep breath, I'll be like, oh my God, they fucking, I just want to. Like, that's what I want to do sometimes. Like, what the fuck was I? What was I doing? What was I thinking? And now that I know this, I'm like, do y'all know this? Did y'all know this was like this? This was meant for this? And some people don't even know that. If it wasn't for me fighting for my son, y'all wouldn't be seeing me here today. I almost lost my child due to the school system. And when I almost lost my child, I went down rabbit holes that nobody else was willing to go to. I fought teachers' unions. Lawyers told me to give my rights up, and I said no. I was willing to give my last breath just to show my son's innocence. Just to show how corrupt the fucking people running the system is. So if y'all been watching me for a while, y'all know that I speaks up when it matters. If there's no need for me to talk, I ain't talking. But this right here is something that can be done. I was told, Ray, it's not possible for you to change this. They don't allow to have cameras in these classrooms, in these schools. Bullshit, motherfucker. Now my daughter's school is going to be the first one. One of the first ones that they're going to try the camera system that we've been asking for. Not just cameras in the motherfucking office. Not just cameras in the entrance of the school. We want cameras in each and every one of these classrooms. Why should we give these teachers so much trust and so much privacy? Let me put it like this, 6 to 8 hours out of the week. 7 days out of that week. When they show us, we shouldn't trust them. My thing is that some of us don't know how to fight. The problem is there's people out here trying to be leaders when they can't even fucking become warriors. Too many people doing this. See, it's not just enough to talk about it, but you got to also be able to walk and talk. You got to be about it. That's what I be trying to tell people. Like, I know some of us look like we're not really doing something, but guess what? That fight doesn't always involve, you bitch, you motherfucker. Go that way. Now, go. I'm sorry, guys. Don't do that again. I didn't even know you was behind me and I got a potty mouth. Go. Nuh-uh. Go. She just played me. What did you do? That's your favorite word. What you say? I know, but mommy had a potty mouth. You were supposed to walk that way. Go. Grown-up talking. Grown-ups talking. Are you supposed to be around it? See, that's why I gotta stop. I gotta stop, Ray. Gotta blame yourself. Gotta blame yourself. But I can't help it, man. I can't help it. I can't help it because, man, oh, that's some bullshit. I can't get mad. See, listen, I already owe her some money. When I get rich, I'll pay her. She'll become richer than me, and I'll become rich. I'll become broke. I owe her. I owe her money from having this potty mouth. But she know better that when her mama's talking to adults and she hear her mouth like that, it means that her mama's talking business. Stay that way. Stay in a child's place. You know better. Oh, shit. I didn't know she was behind me, yo. I swear to God. Like, she played this. Nah, man, but yeah, man, we gotta really get our shits together because what's crazy is, right? Listen, when I go to Miss Akimi, right? Miss Akimi be breaking so many things, like, what's logic, how this should be, how she was brought up, right? It's crazy that listening to her reminds me sometime of how my grandpa used to sit here sometimes. Her and Miss Yo Thoughts, especially Miss Yo Thoughts, yo. Miss Yo Thoughts be having some damn stories to tell, yo. And I'll be like, yo, my grandpa used to sit here and tell me similar stories. He just had manly stories, and stuff like that. He got himself in a lot of trouble, but I know that he was a part. I'm not sure, was it the army or the military? Which one was it? But he was a part of it. But you gain and you learn some shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I come on here onto YouTube and I listen to people like Miss Akimi, Miss Yo Thoughts, right, and stuff like that, I learn some shit because now they're not just talking about what's going on here in the present, right? I'm learning and I'm listening to how it was back then, the things I didn't get to, experience. So now I'm listening to the stories through the people who was around the people that lived these situations. So now I'm getting a different perspective. Now I'm getting a different understanding. Now, see, I'm not just seeing what's happening today one way. I'm seeing more options, more choices. Well, this could be like this. If we get our shit together, we do it like this, then this could be done. But you know what you hear people say? Oh, that can't be done. That's not going to happen. How are you going to get people together? Well, that's not what should be my concern. My concern should be say what you got to say, and then, what happens after happens. Shit. Sometimes I just, get it out my chest. You see where I'm coming from? I'm just getting it out my chest. I'm just talking. Right? I'm just putting my emotions. I'm just expressing what I'm perceiving, how I'm feeling, and I'm putting it into the mic. And I'm bringing awareness to it. Real shit. But let's get back to this. My daughter don't get mad at me, yo. She gonna come and roast me later. Trust me. She gonna really come and roast me later. But let's get back to this, all right? Let's get back to this. Okay. So these age, according to them, right? The age of consent is set to protect these minors. But the way that they have the age of consent today, I don't see it protecting our minors, right? By setting a legal age, states can help protect minors from predatory actions by older individuals. However, there are also challenges as many states do not make allowances for minors who misrepresent or lie about their age. Ignorance of a minor's age is typically not a defense in cases involving statutory offense. You see where I'm like, and that should be something done about that too, because if a minor sits here, right, and an adult should know the difference between an adult and a minor. Like, you should know that that's a minor coming up to you, trying to flirt with you, trying to get in your pants if you're a man. If you're a woman too. But, because a lot of us did it when we were younger, it seems to be okay. Not realizing then us saying, oh, it's okay, fuck it, it should happen. I was 16. What's the problem with, her doing it? Well, what the problem is with that, a lot of people groom. A lot of people do this. And at 16, right, our minds are set that, like, at 16, a lot of us are fucking how can I say, celebrity fans. You see where I'm coming from? A lot of us at 16 are still fucking watching more cartoons than what we watch real movies. We can't even still sit our asses down, even if we work. I've seen 16-year-olds, right, that sit here and make a living, make an earning, right? They work, they got a legal job and shit like that. But come home from their, job and start acting like they 8 or 10. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. Let's be real. Just because someone is 16 years old and they know how to work, does that mean it's okay? Go ahead. Have sex. Have a kid. Y'all see why we're having, how can I say it? The problems that we're having with these kids. A lot of these kids are getting, unalived. A lot of these, relationships can't stick together. They say age ain't nothing but a number. But I feel as though that if you're not mature, you shouldn't be in a relationship. If you're not mature, you shouldn't have a child. I'm saying this because I was there once. Why go through the struggle and the bullshit and make this child go through this? Let's make it make sense. The age of consent to have a child should be 18. I don't know how many agree with me, but this is something that listen, if nobody else wants to bring awareness to this, that's on y'all. But I am going to continue to bring awareness to this topic. And I do hope that more content creators bring awareness to this topic. I am hearing too many men come online and say, well, in my city, in my state, the age of consent is 16 years old. So I don't give a fuck if I was 25. I'm going to go and tear that ass the fuck up. Oh, really? Really? Oh, okay. And then here come the predators. And we're not knowing that right along these motherfuckers will sit here and take it. Take it just like karma would take it. Is that what you want for your child? If you're a parent, you're telling me that if you had the chance right now to get together with a group of people and demand this change at Congress, no matter what fucking city or state you're in, you go to town hall and demand this change, you telling me you're not going to do it? I'm just asking. While federal law establishes an age of 18 for sexual consent in specific cases, each state has the authority to set its age of consent laws. The table below summarizes the age of consent across the United States. If you have questions about the age of consent of specific laws in a certain state, it's best to consult legal profession. All right. So we already did this with the map earlier. We've seen the age of consent throughout the cities and the states. Let me see what Stoic is saying. Stoic said, I'm the oldest son growing up. I didn't learn to protect my sisters from others. I already knew duty. There you go. There you go. It's a fact. I'm the oldest out of 5. And I knew that when my mom's husband was touching me in places that, he was touching, I knew that it wasn't right. Something deep down inside me. And when I asked for help, I didn't get that help the right way. So that's why I protect my kids the way that I do. I have conversations with my daughter. Stranger danger. If somebody does this to you, what do you do?
Stranger danger.
Yep.
Screaming.
We have conversations. I prepare my kids because I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. I want them to feel comfortable, safe, secure, coming up to their mother, knowing that their mother is going to fight, that their mother is going to fucking put hands and feet and teeth on a motherfucker that does anything inappropriate to them. And I want them to know why. Because I want them to know that their mama's a lioness and she'll fight for them, their innocence, their rights, no matter the cost, even if it costs my life. So I feel as though that more of us can come together. Can this be changed? Yes, it has been done before, but it's going to take a lot of us parents and people that care to do this. Because just because you're a parent doesn't mean that you don't care what a child goes through. I've seen people that are not parents sit here and become adopt kids and become the best of parents, better parents than biological parents have been to their kids. But I've also seen that, this could go so many ways, but right now we're giving something positive out there. We're not, want to keep talking about the parents that adopt and, misuse and abuse their kids. We know that happens. But you know what we don't talk about? Those people out here that can't have kids and they adopt kids and they give them their all. We don't talk about that. It's always something toxic, always something negative. When in between, there's always something positive. We see the world as this dark place, right? Well, then if it's such a dark place, who's going to be the one shining the light on it? And if it's such a dark place, it's going to take a lot to shine the light in this dark ass hallway, in this dark ass ditch. We got my OG Cutthroat Entertainment in the building, yo. Big shout out to Cutthroat Entertainment, guys. Make sure y'all go check him out. Great conversations, great topics, yo. You will not be disappointed. Let's not just talk about how he brings in great topics and he's funny about it, yo. I swear to God that he's funnier than Joselito, a motherfucking puppy. He be having all the fucking bitches out here looking like some putty porquivities twerking on the fucking wall like an upside down alien. Shout out to Cutthroat Entertainment, yo. My bad. I know. What I just said, what I'm talking about, but man, I gotta show some love to my OG, man. My next door neighbor from New York, the 5 boroughs, man. Shout out to Cutthroat Entertainment, yo. I love my OG, him and wifey, boy. Listen. I love my OG, all right? But yeah, man, I got to touch on this topic. Stoic, you know that when I started my channel, when I first started my channel, I was speaking about the bullying, and all that stuff. But I was also talking about the sexual harassment that kids were receiving in school, how, a lot of things happen within these schools. You know that when I started, it wasn't just about bullying. I also spoke on my story. I don't just fight for bullying, right? I bring awareness to, there's a reason that, Writers for Life has this, hashtag right here. So if y'all interested, DM a Shorty, y'all want to buy the hoodies, hashtag rest in peace to all predators, hit a Shorty's DM, man. Hit me up on Instagram, man. I'm working with a third party that's making these hoodies for me, man. Shout out to printful.com. All right, so they are making these hoodies for a Shorty right here. All right. We building caskets in here. Rest in peace, hashtag predators. So if y'all interested in the goddamn hoodies, holla at a Shorty, all right? So that is a Shorty's hashtag. That is a Shorty's brand. That is a Shorty's logo. Y'all interested in the Writers for Life, joggers, hoodies, holla at a Shorty, all right? Listen, this is something that I've been talking about for 7 years. I bring awareness to this. I have a passion for this. I fight for kids that have been sexually assaulted. I fight for women that have been sexually assaulted. I am the voice for women that cannot speak up. I am the voice for the children that are afraid to speak up. That's why these topics, they may be sensitive to others. And yes, it is a sensitive topic, but it is easy for me to talk about.
I remember the first time I made my mama a promise. I was so young, fucked up in the head, had to toughen up. Even though that was a promise I knew I could never keep. Just peep, cause it's deep. Mama, I try to reach. Why you try to breathe? You knew he was nothing but a leech. He was just like Adam. But instead of the apple, he grabbed the fruit of your leaves, and to him they tasted like peaches. That's when I knew that promises were meant to be broken if they don't come from the heart. Damn, that's fucked up, mama. You put your child in the middle of your problems. You put your whole world on your child's shoulder. Not once thinking that in the future she'll have her own burdens. She screamed, mama, please, while she begged on her knees. Let my protector come back into my life with her wrist sliced in the air, God, please. As time passed by, she learned what a curse and a blessing was, and now she is blessed to be. This message is not for all parents. But if the shoe fits, wear that bitch. This message is for those parents that abuse and let their child get abused. As a child, you love your parent no matter what. All you want from them is their love and affection. Regardless of the abuse they give you, you always want their love and affection. As a child, you always say, Mom or Dad, I will never leave your side. Without realizing sometimes that when you are in an abusive family, sometimes you might have to walk away and not look back. It's hard to keep a promise that at one point you thought you could keep, but couldn't. This world is crazy. I would say shady. Ironic, right? Nowadays, you can't trust no one. When you do, niggas be having their panties all in a bunch, thinking that they own one. Saying the things that you accomplished in life is theirs and that you owe them one. Nowadays, your friends turn into enemies, and your family members are your biggest haters. Can't see you accomplish anything. What's even more crazy is that they say as time pass by, it will heal everything. I seen time flash by and it removed everything, leaving me on standby, ready to kill everything. Alone in the mirror saying, girl, you're everything. You don't need for anything, shorty. So if you haven't walked them all in my shoes, take a minute and listen so you can consume everything. Me and you are not the same, so make sure that when you cross me,
make sure that when you cross me, that's on everything. Give me a second, baby. So as y'all can see, I've been talking about this for a minute. These are conversations that I have with young ladies out here. Am I licensed? No. Did I ask for this? No. Never in a million years did I think that I would be the voice for children or women that have been through sexual trauma. But I am. All right. This is something that came to me. I didn't go looking for it. I didn't choose this. That's why I tell people I may not be where I want to be just yet. I am where I am supposed to be. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So as y'all can see, this is something I've been talking and advocating for a while. So let's go. And like I said, hopefully we get more content creators bringing awareness to this. Why is the age of consent still 16, right? What does consent truly mean if a 16-year-old can vote, drink, or sign a legal contract? Could y'all imagine 16-year-olds, right? Imagine it being legal for a 16-year-old out here to be able to drink, vote, even signing legal contracts. Imagine we had a 16-year-old mayor. Y'all see the movies, right? On how back then, the kings would, get unalive. There's something would happen to the king, and the next on the throne would be this 15, 16-year-old kid that don't even know how to wipe their ass. Imagine that shit now. Is the current age of consent a reflection of maturity or political compromise? And I hope nobody gets mad. I feel as though it's both reflection of maturity and political compromise. Should laws around age of consent be uniform, nationwide, or allow for regional, cultural differences? How do legal definitions of consent intersect with power dynamics in relationships? All right. So these are questions that I feel as though, right, as we the people should be asking these legislators, Congress people, council people. All right. Over here it says, what is the age of consent in Florida? Many wondered why allegations of Matt Gaetz having sex with a 17-year-old was described as sex with a minor. In most states, a 17-year-old is not a minor. To be clear, the reports are that Gaetz paid for sex, which would be illegal regardless of age. Now, y'all still wondering why I say that it should be 18 all across the board? Because At the end of the day, this benefits more the predators than what it benefits the kids. Kids are going to do it regardless. But if we set this legal age at 18, we can catch the motherfucking predators. Because a real fucking man, right, that's got his head straight, no matter the fucking age, knows that once you turn 21, you're not going to fuck around with no 16-year-old. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. In other words, Florida is one of the few states where the age of consent is 18. As a result, paying for sex with a 17-year-old would not only be solicitation or prostitution, it would be statutory rape. Like it was here in Philadelphia at one point. But now the age of consent in Philadelphia is 16. Why? Why? Now it's not considered statutory rape when you look it up. I'm looking like, who the fuck changed this? And then I'm looking up who's been in office for the past couple of years, who's the one that deals with these, I'm sitting here like, oh, the same motherfuckers that get voted in because we don't vote. I think Stoic is on something because I am kind of curious. Since all this Epstein list came out, Trump came into office, how is it that now the age of consent is 16? I'm confused as shit. It wasn't like that before. Now we have to dig rabbit holes to find out how it got changed. Now we have to dig rabbit holes. Like, do y'all know to find out who the hell actually is responsible for doing all this shit? You have to go down fucking rabbit holes, deep ones, deep rabbit holes, because guess what? Everything in these computers are filtered. You have to write certain shit down a certain way, right, in order to get the information that you're seeking and not get misinformation or misled. Because this shit, remember, if y'all been watching me for a while, we did a whole live on the Mandela effect and why they came up with the Mandela effect. And I'm going to say it right now, right? They did that to test our minds, to see how much people remember throughout the years. So they'll come and they'll change this up and they'll change that up. They did the biggest test with the Fruit of the Loom. I don't know if y'all seen it, heard about it and stuff like that. The biggest test was with Fruit of the Loom, with the little cantaloupe thingy, whatever that shit is called. Coon, I forgot what the fuck it was. The biggest test was with them, right? And people still ain't realize it. Mandela effect is not magic. It's not science. It's us being guinea pigs, right? What they'll do is they'll change shit right underneath our noses to see how much can we remember. How much have we forgotten throughout the years of things that happen within our surroundings. All right. Hopefully I said that right. But this is what this shit is reminding me of. So if y'all thinking, oh wait, I thought it was like this at one point, don't think you're going crazy. We are an experiment. The Mandela effect is a project, and we are the guinea pigs. That shit is not magic like some people think. It's not the MK Ultra. That has nothing to do with the Mandela effect. But it has everything to do with our fucking brains. How much do we remember? How much have we forgotten? Can they play in front of our faces like they're doing right now? Why do you think it's so easy for them to do it? Oh, the world is a stage, a big microscope, and we are the goddamn experiment inside the tube. But let's get back to this, right? Federal law and age of consent. Federal law mandates that individuals must be 18 to consent to sexual activity if the activity involves interstate travel or online communication with a minor. This means that even if a state's age of consent is lower than the age of 18, the federal standard will apply in specific cases. This rule is particularly relevant for cases involving internet communication, such as online solicitation or sharing explicit laws. So one thing I can sit here and say is for all y'all men and women, right, that are saying that y'all doing these types of things, when the law is, corrected, it's going to take some time. So go ahead and keep having some fun. But as y'all can see, right, if a parent of the child that y'all are talking about having sexual intercourse, right, takes this federal, it doesn't matter if in your city or state the child's consent is 16. If a parent decides to take this federal, it's curtain for your fucking ass. Me as a parent, I wouldn't take this, how can I say, I would take this federal as a parent, knowing that the law in my fucking city and state is a motherfucking joke. Knowing it. But maybe that's only me. I'm probably the only one that's thinking like this. That's why I say we got to go deeper. We got to go deeper. For those of y'all wondering, it's right there. That's what I was reading. Federal law mandates that individuals must be at least 18 to consent to sexual activity if the activity involves interstate travel or online communication with a minor. This means that even if the state's age of consent is lower than 18, the federal standard will apply in specific cases. This rule is particularly relevant for cases involving internet communication, such as online solicitation or sharing explicit materials. And there have people that have been on here, they may not share materials, but they share their story. And if a parent decides to use that against you, you know what? Go ahead. Let's get it started. That's one way to draw the state's attention. The laws that y'all got here are shit. They're not helping our kids. They're helping the predators. And what's crazy is it tells a lot of these politicians are into this shit. Why you think that, Diddy's getting off so easy? Why you think that all this shit with the Epstein list is, it's got people, because they're playing with our fucking heads. And we just sitting around and letting them do it. Conclusion. The age of consent varies significantly across the United States, and understanding these differences is essential for awareness. Knowing both state and federal laws is especially important as the consequences, I got you right now, baby, as the consequences for the violations can be severe. If you have questions or concerns regarding age of consent laws, consulting with a legal professional can provide clarity and guidance. So that right there is what I, wanted to show y'all, right? So as y'all can see, there's loopholes to everything. This is why I kept telling everybody, I want y'all to know y'all laws. I want y'all to know y'all rights, right? Don't just go by what I'm saying, right? The reason I know so much about these things is because of what I've been through myself, right? And not just that, I had to fight hard to keep my child in my arms. My child is now 18. Yes, he's adjudicated, right? A war that hasn't been won, but I won a battle. He's free. He's home with me, 18 years old, right? But until he turns 21, he has to stay out of trouble. Because if he gets locked up for a fight or anything like that, he'll get put in for a long time. He'll get put away for a long time because he is still adjudicated. That's like breaking parole or breaking what's that called? House arrest. So all I'm saying is that we got to look at it. There's loopholes to everything, and there's a reason these loopholes are there. When I went live the other day, right, I was showing y'all. Let me see. Mama, give me a minute. Go over there, right? You got to give me a minute, Samir. Hold on, Mama. When I went live the other day, right, we was talking about the system, right? What defines the system that we're in? And as we was doing it, right, I came across it telling me about the 4 people that, had the ideas on how the system was to be developed. And boom, 2025, here's how we got the system that is today. Now, according to how the system was made up, the ways that we're doing things is not the ways we're supposed to be doing things. You see where I'm coming from? There's a reason. There's rules, all right? I fucked up when I was on Words panel the other day and I said safety. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking more about the rights to stop the bullshit that was happening, back in the, I can go deep into this, right? But this is not the live about it. This is not the live for that. right? But I want y'all to really go in and, learn your rights, learn, the amendments. It's not just 10 amendments either. It's 100 and I forgot how much. I know it's 100 and I think 80 something if I'm not mistaken. Amendments, right? Learn your rights and then learn the loopholes that come attached to each of these things that they have out here. The bills, the laws, all that shit. Take your time, learn it and mesmerize it like my baby dad told me at one point. You see where I'm coming from? Like, I gotta be thorough about that shit. All right. So I want y'all to look it up. And when this was, the feasibility of ungoverned societies, historical realities, philosophical debates, and contemporary considerations, right? They got books on this. They got notes on this. Like, as crazy as it is, it shows you how the system was built, starting from way before medieval time to now. Can it be changed? That's why when people, I'm not trying to change everything right now, but I am trying to bring awareness, and as much awareness as I can. Listen, I'm 35 years old, right? My mind didn't start really unlocking until I turned 24, 25 years old, all right? It didn't really start unlocking until then. And now that I got a lot and I know a lot, right? I don't got everything. I don't have a solution to everything. All right. Do I got some good ideas? Yeah, I'm going to share them. I'm not just going to keep them to me. I'm going to push them, I'm going to pass them forward. Somebody, can actually do something. Somebody can come across somebody that can actually do something. But the thing that we have to do now is figure out how is that we the people is going to get heard. Because it's supposed to be we the people, not the electoral people, not the legislators. All right. It's we the people. How do we make it to that? All right. But until then, all I can say is, guys, man, welcome to America, land of the free, where you got to pay for water, even the air you breathe.
This is America, land of the free, where you gotta pay for water, even the air you breathe. Y'all screaming Black Lives Matter, turn around and watch our kids die and cry and ask why. They gotta fly high. Now we gotta be strong enough to storm the weather. Y'all weak, y'all fold under pressure. Now y'all went and lost your treasure. Oh my, look at the oppressor, dressed as a professor, calls himself a hitman, missed his target and got banned. Now he's tomorrow's trend, all for a brand. Don't act surprised. Y'all can stand. Y'all knew the plan. Y'all know that friend with that itchy hand ready to see you go missing? Damn, what a scam. The whole time they was listening. They was just a part of the plan. Got us on a mission, on go mode and ready to rant.
And guys, that's all the time that I got for y'all right now. It's all the information that I got for y'all right now. I will be doing a part 2, right? With some videos and some more information. All right. We're going to break this down, and this is just for me to bring out awareness, all right? But, the majority of the lives that I do, right, is for information. 10% of my lives be for me just, goofing off and having fun, conversations, and it's still bringing information. But at the end of the day, lives like this, I feel as though more and more of us need to talk about it, all right? Not just us, the people that are the voice, right? Those people that are listening, those people that are subbed up to bloggers and YouTubers and podcasters like me, right? Spread the message. How do you do that? Sharing a video. I'm not going to ask somebody to like it because not everybody likes information like this. Not everybody's into this, right? But the like is not important to me. What y'all can do, how y'all can help the shorty out is by sharing these videos out, all right? Share them out. You got a Twitter, share the video out. You got Facebook, share our videos out. You got Reddit, share our videos out. All right. So that's how you help a shorty out. All right, guys. So for those of y'all interested in the shorty's merchandise, I just told y'all hit a shorty DM. All right. I will hit y'all back as soon as I get the message. What she's trying to do, right, with her calls, her community center services, and much more. So just hit a shorty up and, let's do this, man. How can I say it? A better world, a better us, all right? And I know that the world is like yin and yang, but we need to get our shit together, man. I appreciate you too, Stoic. Shout out, everybody. Till next time, man. A shorty out.
Religiously, understand the 7 principles of hell. You understand the 7 demons within you. You gotta understand that whole concept. It's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but it mean. But anyway, so